Judy, can you give us some examples of specific problems that you've been successful at addressing utilizing these tools that you're describing, the mindfulness tools on your unit? Like anything you've bumped up against as you've been trying to implement them that you had to overcome?
Yeah, I think the first would be like the staff buy-in. Not everyone is into meditation or that moment of just sitting there quietly for a minute. So, I think just putting it out there and seeing that their colleagues are doing it kind of makes them think, well, they kind of follow along. But there's always going to be a handful of people that are not going to be involved or not engaged, which I accepted that. I try to talk to them maybe one-on-one and just ask them, is there something else they prefer? They don't like to, I guess they're restless, they say, so they can't sit still, they feel like they can't relax.
Yeah.
So then I just try to also have different channels, and if they can't sit there, we do it like we're standing in huddle. I try to do something deep, just 3 deep breaths, so it's pretty quick. And I would say hospital-wide, but they've been very open to everything. When I try to change or implement something, and it's not really, doesn't affect the hospital standard, but I think that the support of my director and other managers as well, we've all kind of taken on a little something that's worked and just passed it on and shared it with the new upcoming managers to let them know, like, why go through the whole start of the process when it's something that works in my unit. I don't mind sharing with other people.
Yeah,
but I think buy-in is challenging because you'll have people that are totally into listening to mindfulness on the tapes, or they read books, and there's some people that that's not their outlet. But I think you just have to kind of see what works for everybody. And that's why the hand washing was one thing. It's kind of separate. You can do it or not when you're at the sink washing your hands.
Yeah.
The sacred space is open to everybody. I don't make people go in there. We do a timeout huddle, we call it. So if something's going on the unit, or there's some stress, or someone just passed away, we try to acknowledge that. So we just bring everyone together and just kind of lead a quick check-in to make sure how is everyone doing. Maybe the stress level is really high on the unit, or something like a code happened. So we try to address everybody. And so if there's one person that's having a hard time, at least we as a group know we can kind of focus on that person to be there and help them. And maybe give them a quick break that they can go off the unit. And we did also, one more thing was we created a pause pouch. It's a PAUSE, pause pouch. And the nurses brought that together, and then again got a grant from the hospital. And that was nice because it's like, the idea of it is, I actually have a sample. It's a little pouch, and in it is a positive comment card, and then some little candies, chocolate if they like it or regular, and then a tea bag. And the thought was, if you had a really hard day, your patient passed, you had a code, or a patient just transitioned to comfort care that you've known for a while, it takes a toll on people, and you don't really have the downtime to process it. And so when we realized that one of our colleagues is going through that, whether it's a doctor, a nurse, even a nursing assistant, we kind of pull them aside and offer it to them. They don't have to take it, but we just want to acknowledge that we're aware of what's going on. We want to support you. Just to maybe we'll cover you for the next 15 minutes if you want to go and get a hot cup of tea, or just walk on the campus for a couple of minutes just to get a breather. Because if your patient passes or goes to ICU, you kind of go back into the next room and continue on. There's not a lot of downtime, and so we want to acknowledge people that we can give you a couple of minutes or longer just to acknowledge the moment that you're going through, and also to hopefully kind of build them back up so they can start fresh and not have that kind of doom over them knowing their patient maybe passed or whatever the situation was. So it's taken off. Again, not everyone's into it, but I think they accept it and they appreciate it. It's a thought that counts, they say to us. And what they do with it is their decision. But it kind of, I think at the end of the day, they reflect on it, and they come back the next day and they say, at the moment I didn't really want this, but when I got home, I'm really glad I had that little cup of tea, or I keep the positive note in my wallet or in my pocket, and they kind of reflect on it. So it's kind of nice that it does carry on a little bit down the road. It takes time, but
that's really cool. I love that.